CAN protocol. So the CAN is a communication protocol for controller area network. So we discussed about how to create a CAN database, which means functional designing. So apart from that, how we are utilizing the database for our analysis purposes, and how we are using for simulation purposes, and with the help of campus scripting, we simulating some values, some messages, with real-time concepts like SQL, and then some of the RTA, BCM, these kind of things. So the next one is that Unified Diagnostic Services. So it is called as a UDS. It is a one type of communication protocol for diagnostic services. So previously discussed about CAN protocol, that is a controller area network for in-vehicle communications. So for easy use, that means easy use transfer exchanging some data with the help of communication protocol of CAN. So apart from that, we are knowing about Day9 FlexRay Ethernet. Same concept, it is also a communication protocol from client to server side. So here client means our tester, which means what are the tool we are using for that services, that is called as a client. So server is called as our ECU. So based on the client requirement, server will go into responsive. So that is communication called as a diagnostic. So the one and only protocol is the Unified Diagnostic Services. So it is fully comes under the error spotting or ECU flashing reprogramming language. Okay. So the UDS protocol. So the UDS protocol is a communication standard protocol, which means that ISO number is 14922 something. So and then it is worked with an onboard diagnostic, which means a OBD port system. So in our all the cars, not only car, wherever we are working with the ECUs, definitely we will get that on final output source, that is called as a OBD port. Onboard diagnostics. So it is differed by some of the pin configuration based on the manufacturer's requirements. It is 9-pin configuration, 8-pin configuration, 16-pin configurations, like that, and the 11-pin configurations. So based on that. So using this onboard, using this OBD port only, we are able to do some diagnostics. So here the diagnostics can only 27 services. So based on the 27 services, it is carrying some sub items, which means sub functions. They are called as sub functions. So easy reset means what kind of reset for that serial communication reset or some other reset like reprogramming the entire is used, or reprogramming just a message or reprogramming just whatever required. So based on that is called as sub functions. So here that we are going to check about that onboard diagnostics only. So it will be communicated with our electronic control units. So in our vehicles having that organizer, which means brain is called as a ECUs. So now we are going to communicate with that brain of the car, which means from tester side using our diagnostic tool. So this tool to our vehicle we are going to communicate with the help of UDS. Okay. So UDS is based on the ISO standardization, that is called as 14229 standardization, that idea is called as ISO standardization of 14229. So in this diagnostic we are able to work with CAN control, FlexRay, Ethernet, different kind of protocols also available to communicate with our ECUs for diagnostics purposes. So we need to understand it is a diagnostics only. So the diagnostic purposes we are communicating from our tester side to server side. Okay. So now that modern vehicles easily we are able to access the OBD port. In the olden days, which means previous days cars we need to check with the OBD port. It is a very rare. But nowadays all the cars having the behind of our steering wheel we are having a small box. We just push and open means we will get the OBD port. We are able to easily connect it. Okay, so in the modern vehicles we are able to easily diagnostic the issues and easy to read the values of, which means what it is in between data exchanging, the values we are able to read it. So in these diagnostic services we are able to clear DTCs. So DTC means nothing but diagnostic trouble codes. Diagnostic trouble codes. So this diagnostic trouble codes means like our service IDs. The last slide I will show what is between service ID, what are the services I mentioned here. Okay. So in this DTC means nothing but based on the fault. For example, now the engine having that fault means they are having some particular code ID. So using that accessing of ID, which means 0x20, 0x30, like that ID numbers there. Using the particular ID, we are able to diagnose the codes of what we got the error. So and then we are able to flash in the program reprogram our ECUs. So it is based on security purpose only. We are not able to easily diagnostic all the vehicles. So before going to this diagnosis, it is enabled with some of the securities also. So we just clear that securities. Afterwards only we are able to reprogram the entire ECUs. So and then we are able to do some input output controls, everything. We are able to testing and then do some functions here. Okay, so the UDS communication sessions to manage interaction between the diagnostic tool to ECUs. So this main concept is how we are communicating from our diagnostic tool. Here the diagnostic tool is called as our TS master tool. Our TS master also we are having one column as a diagnostic module. But we are not able to access the diagnostic module without any ECUs. Okay. So from the ECUs called as a servers. So on the different types of sessions include default programming and then extended the diagnostics is there. Based on that our requirements. So this diagnostic we need to use on our garages, like in our service centers only we are able to use the diagnostics. Okay. So for our just this one line, it is handling the errors also. It will detect some errors. So in our instrument cluster we are getting the ABS malfunction, engine malfunction means we are able to just read the output, but we are not able to clear that error. So that we need the help of diagnostics. So we communicate with the diagnostic port with some of the tool IDs we are having, that is same method 20 or 30 is there. So based on that it will be response. We are able to work on that malfunctions. Suppose it is a wiring configuration means also it will be showing it is a fault detection wiring. So or else it is really that coding configuration or inbuilt configuration errors means we will detect by that diagnostic modules. Okay. So So these are the common 27 IDs for that our UDS protocols, Unified Diagnostic Services. So SID means nothing but service ID. So they are giving the explanation for that. For example, if you are working with ID number 10 means it will be doing diagnostic session control, which means so once we dump this service ID to our ECUs means it will be doing some session controls to the ECUs. Mostly they are working ECU reset. So in the carriage they are focusing on ECU reset. For example, ID number 11. So ID number 11 it is whenever we just sending the request by ID number 11. So it is going for the ECU and it will be responsive by the ID number 41. So whatever ID is sent, it will be adding 40 for the response ID. Okay. So here before going to that. Okay. So actually this is our diagnostic communication. So this is what I need to understand you. So this is our client side, which means our tool will going to sending some request. It is our car will going to respond some values. So it is the major thing that is called as UDS request and then response knowledge. They are called as UDS request and then response knowledge. So request and response means nothing but we are not directly able to work with this any ECUs. If you need to communicate with ECU means definitely you need the ID number. So that IDs we are able to work with only these 27 IDs. Okay. So using this ID numbers only we are able to communicate it, because for ECU reset means this ECU reset having some sub functions. Based on that we will work on it. So in this diagnostic session control, here I am sending the ID number 0x7 means, so my client side I am sending it is want to reset the ECU. What are the ECUs I have mentioned it, want to reset it. So based on that, if it is received means we are having two kind of response, positive response and then negative response. Suppose our request is received by our ECU and ready to respond, it means we will get the positive response. Suppose we are getting the negative response means we will facing some wiring configurations. We are facing some in between that our tool to our ECUs, we are facing some wiring configurations like that. So in this kind of issues we call as a negative responses. Okay. So like that our ECU is showing like here. So what are the requests we need to transmit by our tool? It is going to check with ECU. Again the ECU is going to responses. That is the point they mentioned here. So this T means nothing but the tester side. So they are called as a tester, another one called ECU called as a server. Or they can call as a client, they are called as a servers. So here if you have to see, if I is sending the ID number 10 means it is taking the diagnostic session control, the positive response we will get it by the ID number 50. So whenever we get the positive response at the time only, it is ready to diagnose the ECU. So that is what this is called as a positive response. So we will easily identify positive response means what are the ID result, it will be adding 40. So it is the standardized one. Okay. So for example, here you send the 22 means it will get in the 62. So 31 means it will get in the 71, 85 means it will get in the exact values. So yes, whenever we are getting the additional 40 values as a response, so that response are called as a positive response. So we are able to do that diagnostic here. Okay. So the negative responses, it is showing like that. For example, if you are sending the ID number 10, again ID number 10 we will receive, it is like a general reject. If you are sending the ID number 11 means it is again sending the negative response as 11. We are not getting the additional 40, so the service not supported, subfunction not supported, conditions not corrected. Like that, based on that, the ID numbers we will be able to receive it. So that is called as a NRC's negative responses. So here for our understanding, you just so for our engineers, you just giving what is mean by UDS and they are studying this service means that is enough. So we mentioned we are giving them only request response knowledge only. They are so in the interview time they are asking about what is that service of the ID number 11. So means that service number 11 is used for ECU reset. Like that is the knowledge enough for that as a fresher engineers. So because the UDS, we need to work with this UDS means definitely 3 years of experience we need. So why I am mentioning that means in our case we are having one application we are having that option is a diagnostic module. Okay. So in this diagnostic module we are having different kind of setups, protocol and then basic configurations, diagnostic console and then automatic diagnostics is there. So now I just giving the example but it will not work. Okay. For example, in this protocols, transport layer, we need to set what kind of bus channel we are going to work. It is a CAN protocol or LIN or Ethernet like that we need to select. So what kind of channel you are working, what is the request ID you are mentioned here. So based on that, what is the ID type you are going to work with, standard CAN or extended CAN like that. So what is the response ID it is going to transport for us. So it is a functionality or not like that. Some of the timings also we need to mention. So what is the PQ time? What is the tester time like that? So from tester side request and then the ECU will be reply on it. So what is the time will be taken? So what is the time we allocated? So within this time we are getting any response or not, or else we are not getting any responses like that. The time out to 800 time. So that is called as a response pending, like that we are able to work on it. So here the time has to play a major role. So within this time, this service we need to give the output like that. Okay. So this much of in-depth we entered means we need definitely practical exposure. So whatever we covered by theoretically will not suitable for this UDS. So this UDS we definitely we need a practical exposure. So presently we just work with only what is meant by UDS and we understood the concept of service ID, what are the IDs for the what kind of services. That is more than enough for the as a fresher in this. Okay. So I will provide this document in our group. So later you just read this. Okay.
UDS code.
Yes.
Application.
So application diagnostic module from left to third one diagnostic module. Okay. So open the add diagnostic. So you will get it. And then the description is there. So please stop the simulation. So before please stop the simulation, open the diagnostic module. So here they mention all the ID numbers. For example, ID number 10 for diagnostic session control, 11 for ECU reset, 27 for secondary access, like that. Right click. Right click and then add new service means the control error. So what is the request ID? What is the response ID? What it will do? So please turn off the simulation here. Turn off and go to application. And this is from the left side of the third one, diagnostic module is there. Open add diagnostics.
This dashboard is not showing.
Yes.
Showing.
So now it is showing the automatic diagnostic console for you one. So from the left, the first one is the protocol block. So in this protocol, it is showing first a transport layer. So what kind of transport protocol we are working with here and what kind of ID request everything. So the second one, diagnostic layer. So this diagnostic, what is the time out we are giving. So you click this detail means it is explain what is meant by P2 time, what is extended time window. Same thing for we are working for tester person. So what is mean by test S3 time and then must be S3 server time like that. We mentioned clearly in some flow chart. Okay, here the seed key is there and then seed key code is there. So we need to dump some code here. Okay, so we need to dump some code after we are able to flash it. So next one, the second tab is the basic diagnostic confirmation. You click this means you will get all the 27 IDs in this website. Okay.
So for this also like can we have to create the database?
Huh?
Like can we have?
Yes, definitely for all kind of this work we need a database. Okay. For example, now diagnostic session control is there means click and then right click means it is asking for our new service. The service we added. So the same service we added. So it is asking for that is the request ID is read only, response ID is read only like that. So what are the timing we need to, for example, new parameter something we need to write it here like integer. So these kind of values. So little bit it is there as a in depth of work. Okay. So instead of that, in this tool we are having every opportunity, but we need one real time resource to work on this. Okay. Wherever we need this request IDs means the response we need a real time data. Or else it will not work with that request. This is enough.
PDDs beyond hardware, just beyond hardware. Use real time machines beyond. We connected applications also. Without hardware, we cannot do PDDs. PDDs kind of service now.
Okay, so now we are just going for this CAPL scripting. So we are having nearly 120 scripting questions for the CAPL. So initially I am just giving you the introduction about what is meant by CAPL. CAPL, how we are simulating the values. So apart from that CAPL simulation of values, we are able to work with this kind of working also. For example, write a MVC program to filter CAM message with a specific ID. So for example, different kind of messages running whenever we connected the car. But using the script, we need to filter only ID number 123 and print the data of those messages. Which means ID number 123 only we want to print it, what kind of data it carrying. Okay, so for that we are using a so now we want the ID number 123 means we are directly able to work with on-can RX. Right click, add on RX. So particular ID number 123 give it, and then here if you are using long for all the byte means you will receive only ID number 123. Okay, so I will show you the difference. Why they are giving this question means
You should be documenting this.
yes, I will share. As of now, I am not shared it. Later, I will share the questions. Okay, so it is a vector tool CAPL programming. So, for example, in this vector tool, they need to sending some messages means just a empty compiler. So in the initial stage, we are working in C program. So we are having only empty compiler. Whatever we need, we are using hash input, standard input, output into main function, open close. The same concept they are working on the CAPL. So they are giving empty compiler. We only need to type the variables and open close brackets what the variable requires. So in the long start we need to type manually and then open close brackets what are we going to start it and what are we going to stop it. So instead of that in this TS master we are having the individual columns. So now you want to work with on start means you just give one sub item, you just write it your code. You don't need to type on start and then open right close bracket, not required. So what are that we are typing manually, they are giving individual column. What are that common columns they are put it on start, the basic events they mentioned there. For example, receiving can message. For example, if you want to receive a message means they are writing on message of 0x200. So then the write means they are using log. We are using log instead of they are using write. So the same concept we are using in our scripting here. So on message 200 instead of that we are creating one event. So in this event we are wrapped with the ID number 123. Instead of they are using the write here. So we are going to work with log. So log of first. So we want integer values percentage d. So for accessing the first bit, we are taking the help of fake and integer of. So now this line will print what are the data we received by the ID number 123. First bit only it will be received. Okay. So this is the first question answer. So it will be take some complicated. So second question is that so function that counts the number of can messages received within the specific can window, which means within 1 second how many messages received and written the count. So that is our question. So that I have so in this code first actually our question is so how many messages we received within 1 second and we need to return the count. So that I am taking the RX event first. So in this RX event I am giving any ID. I am not mentioning a particular ID because our question is not mentioning a particular ID. What are the IDs you received? Just store it like that only that question. So I am giving that I am giving RX event as any ID. So in this ID I am getting the value of initial. I am using one temporary variable here. Okay. So I am using temporary variable here for storing the values, getting the count. Okay. So now this RX event, how many messages will receive giving some count for us? How many that much time this code will be executing. So initially I am setting the value as 0. So the variable value, initial value I take as a 0. Okay. So now what I am getting means, so initial value I take that plus 1 I add it here. So initially value 0 means if one message received means the value will be 1. Or else if 5 messages received means the value will be, the code will be executed 5 times. So the count will be increased as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So afterwards, I am using one on timer. So this on timer will show you. So this RX will collect different kind of messages. How many messages received we are using. But here I have created one time as a 1 second. 1000 milliseconds means 1 second. So here I am using this code. So what are the messages I received within 1 second? That is will be we will print here, which means the add get system variable value of d. So the value will be printed. After printing, the value will going to set as a 0. Which means the concept is this code is only going to print the log value. So in this RX we are just getting the messages, but here we are going to just receive using the login. What are the message? How many count we received? We will print it here. After printing, we set the value as a 0. So again 1 second, what are the message we received? Because this code will work after 1 second only. Because the time is 1 milliseconds. So now we have to check this. So for that I am taking that one more tag because it is going to act as a receiver. So one more tag going to transmit some values. So now both devices need to check with the same virtual device. So here I am not uploading any data of this, I am just randomly sending the raw message. Okay. Using the raw message of 10 milliseconds. So I will now we are going to transmit two messages, ID number 123 and 125. So here I just connect this one. From this trace we are using 123 125. Now we are checking the script.
So actually, if he is value is being same, but his process will be a checking.
Wait. So now start the script. So last second, if the values will be varying based on 198 to 102 means this much times that messages will be, because we are using the FPS of 10. Cyclic message time of 10. So per second, 100 times we transmit per message. So two message transmitted for 200 times. We are got it. For example, if I am changing one as a 100 milliseconds means. So now initially we are yes, got it. So at the time range it is not getting any values. So now the value is 110 because one message is transmitting for 10 milliseconds. 10 milliseconds means per second 100 messages. So one message is transmitting for 100 milliseconds. So that is per second 10 messages. So 100 plus 10, 110. So basically the value is varying, we are receiving the output. So they are using the scripting like that only. So not only for simulation, the testing, sir. So apart from that, whatever we require, we are able to work with this capital scripting for this communication access. Okay.
So from the CC we are asking also how many messages.
Yeah. Yes. So next one. So we are trying to write a mini script for modify the data of incoming messages with a particular ID by adding a constant offset to each byte, which means so for the we are focusing for ID number 456 only. So this ID will receive means we need to change the byte value, which means if a byte value combine first byte is at 10 means we need to change it by one constant offset of 15. So the second byte coming by 25 means we need to add the offset of 5 as 30 like that. So for that we need the help of, so at the time of this kind of script we are mostly working with oncan RX. Here anywhere we are not working with oncan TX, not that much. If required we are directly taking the help of com.can transmit async. You have to take the help of async and then put it in the variable of on time. Okay, as per the timing it will be work and then you don't want to confuse in the zip also. Okay. So and then so before going to that, ma'am asked one question. So where we are using that app, where we are using this communication function, where we are using the testing function. Yes. So these application functions having that not that much importance. So this application function is full of automate this tool. Okay. But for the system variables, these are considered not considered communication. So that is like one temporary variable, that variable having in our application. So if you want to work with that system variable, for example, set system, set underscore system means it is comes under application only. So based on our variable, for example, we are creating a double variable means we are just work with this double. We are creating a double array means working with double array. Or else if you are working with only integer variable means we are taking the help of integer, set system variable of integer z2. So it is just like one line code. Here you have to paste the address of this line, which means address of the variable. Here whatever values you set, the value will be set. Okay. So these are not considered any communication. So easily you have to understand the communication will. So this communication we will work with whenever we are working on a protocol, at the time only it will be used, or else it will not use that communication protocol. So the communication protocol needs a RBS help of RBS. So the RBS requires the CAN database. So based on the database, now we are going to work with the link means we need to upload the link database. CAN means CAN database, Flexi means Flexi database. But the concept is same. For example, so set signal means the same concept for Flexi, same concept for link, same concept for CAN. So what are the protocol we are using? We just take the help of that function, but the concept is same. For example, now I take the link means. So instead of can address, they are working with len, but the address are same. What are the address you created for the particular signal? You just paste it here, and what are the values you need to set it? Just use the same values. Okay. So as of now, we are not working with test. If I am taking the test, means it takes some time to understand. So possible, I will add it on phase 2. Okay. Because whenever we are understanding the capital scripting knowledge, after actually we are able to work with these test cases. So the test cases are nothing but we are going to call as a test. Okay. So here classic test system options there. Probably you have to open it. Go to the test option. After code generation, we are going to test tab. So open the third one, classic test system. If you open it, means you are getting like this. So first one, test overview or next test system login. So here the username is admin, password is also same admin. Username go to the test system login. It is asking for username and then the password. So both are admin, previous models. Okay. After give login, your device is logged here. Okay. So it is kind of some different things. User means lowest, administrator high, developer means highest. So you are working with developer. So the third one, system configuration. It is for what kind of test system we are writing, the basic configuration only. So whatever we have to select, the system icon is nothing but for the test case we are providing one icon, which means you are working with the engine test case, means you are using the engine image like that. Okay. So if you have previously worked with any test system, you have to import it here. Export means we have to export it here. So now our work is, let's say, fourth one is the DUT configuration. So the DUT means nothing but device under test. So that is called as our ECU. So which one is available here? DUT. So device under test. So now when we complete this after we are able to work here. So instead I have to create one additional. Temporarily I am type as a ECU. DUT selection you are having on plus symbol here. Just click means it is asking for new DUT. Just type the ECU. And click OK. Now it is dropped down here. Select the ECU. So what are the ECU image you need? Right click to upload it here. Okay. So this is the DUT port number. So port number means that a particular ECU number. So here I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here manufacturer name, manufacturer address. Now it is not required, but if you are working with real-time DUTs, we have to upload it. Okay. So after configuration, go to test parameters. Okay. So we are having two types of parameters here. One is that DUT is for only for particular ECUs, or else you are declaring global parameters. So parameters means nothing but we are setting some range. For example, right click, add new parameter. If you are giving means right click add new parameter means it is showing the type. So it is the integer of 32-bit or unsigned 32-bit or float or whatever. Defaultly it comes with the integer of 32 bits. So the value we take as for example 20. Okay. So description I mentioned as a vehicle speed limit. Okay. Vehicle speed limit. I just take this parameter. So afterwards we are having the one option is the test cases. So here only we are going to write our test cases. So what we have discussed in this last 15 days, the last 10 days, we are just using these test cases. Nothing but we are writing the again capital scripting here. But it is having to generate some reports. It will show you test case pass, test case fail like that. For example, right click. We are having one option as a new test case. Add new test case means if I click this, it is open the right. So I double click this means our editor code only will So this is our test case plan. So the cap script and test case are not that different. It is just different with some of the functions only. But what we studied in our cap, the same thing we are going to utilize here. But some of the test functions. For example, the functions are downside test functions are there, right? So using this function, it is showing test case pass or test case fail like that. For example, now we are given an option as a set will take the end okay. So whenever using this function, so previously we are using the log file to print some statements, right? So instead of the log, we are using test.set will take not okay means this file. So wherever we are using this is showing that test case failed. So we need to show that is a fail means also using some of the inbuilt functions. Instead of that, okay. So instead of that, parallel I open that go to this things this. So here I need to write some coding. So apart from that, they are having that inbuilt sample projects. So I will show you. So here one small icon is there T64 top left. Okay. So go to sample projects. This bottom numbers here I am sample projects. So here I am using the test system. So can test it. So previous project you want to save because it is a new project. So currently open means it is asking for save the older project.
Now, working directory means like the manufacturer is automatically. You can always
Yes, I got. But at the time we are facing some issues, it is not saved. So initially we are facing the issues for working directory, but we are using that same controller option. Okay. So this is that sample project. So they are writing some test cases here. So I just run this one, start the simulation. We need to start the test cases.
But with the
So no, in this project, sample project having some inbuilt database. So like that, what are test cases we write here? So some of the inbuilt functions we use means only we are able to have that with this green color and the colored output like test case pass, test case fail. This asking for generate report template. Yeah, we are able to generate the report here. So finally we are getting the report as a CAN test report. What is the username? What is the DET name we used there? Part number, manufacturer, what meter previously mentioned, everything is there. So the frame transmission test. So first test case. Okay, I am facing some issues with it, so I am not getting the format exactly. So once you start the simulation, so it is showing like that. So just download this project and open. You don't need to do anything. So just click the start analysis started. Next you just click the start button means automatically it's running and then test cases will be running here. So based on the test case report, the report generation automatically will get it. Okay. So here the base is the capital something only. As of now I pushed everything means you are not understood that what is my capital also. So what is the test case? Now your question actually comes now, what is test case? How we write this means you are everything forgotten the basics of capital. So we need to first understand the basics of capital means that is fine. So that I am not giving this kind of tasks here. So after execution, you will receive this kind of output. So we are having the overnight test case running also. So it will be running for 12 hours, 13 hours also. Okay. So 12 hours, 13 hours means the final output will, for example, now we are it is not okay means so it is not okay from the index number 8. So the test case of 8 index number 8 we will. So here we got the error. So double click means Here they are writing some code here. So what are the codes required? They are writing here. So they need to work on that again. So this test case is failed. They are not meeting our requirement properly. So like that. So again they are going to work. So the overnight execution will be based on. So I already mentioned the ECU's team will be working on different kind of teams. First, one people work for chassis team, that is 25 numbers. One people work for infotainment team, that is 15 members. So they are writing some test cases. They are writing test cases after they everything imported, and that will be taken that overnight of execution. Okay. So here the concept are same only. Whatever you are using that app, if condition app.wait. So com.get FPS, com.set FPS, not even set, get FPS set signal like that only. But we need to show by so test.write result value, test.set dig okay. So this kind of functions we need to use it. That is like on small log values only. So not that much complicated. So now the previously discussed about cap and R. So that is the fine thing. So that is also again more requirements. Okay. So I will share this BDC program questions in our group. You have to work on this. So if you need any help, means like so if you are working with ChatGPT, it is giving real-time camel script like this kind of outputs only. So you need to give R message 0h2. So we need to understand. So it is mentioned like R message means we have to take in here. So in our TS master tool. So it is mentioning that Rx means this one, Tx means this one. They definitely mention it is a receiving CAN message. So in the top they are mentioning receiving CAN message. So receiving CAN message means we need to access this on-CAN Rx. So transmission CAN message means we need to access on-CAN Tx. In capital scripting there is no column for on-CAN pre-Tx. Okay. So that because after completion this FDP, I provide these questions. If you are not getting answer, you are not able to write the code, means you can take the help of ChatGPT. It will give the clear solutions, but it will give it on the capital format only. So we need to decode that. So here they mentioned that on timers. So on timers, the periodic means they mentioned periodic. In we are mentioned as on timer. So okay, on timer message, and then what is the timing value? The same thing, what is the byte value? So periodic message dot byte. So what is the message number? The first message of byte number of 0 means the value we get to set. So similarly, what we have studied in our receiving script, capital scripting, the same thing based on the vector canary also. So ChatGPT will focus on only vector canary only. Okay, the industry requirement tool is a vector canary. So it is giving the more output based on the vector canary capital scripting. Okay. For the reference, these kind of documents also added in that. Driving, please take these documents. So and then for scripts I write it, that script also I will add it in our drive code. So and then within these 2 days, how many scripts I am able to write it, everything I will write it and upload the same drive. After completion of the FDP also, if I write some code means I upload on the drive, please take note. Okay.
So we have worked on timers only.
Yes, ma'am.
We started stopping at on timers or by using basically we have done the coding in CAN. Like now you have mentioned in on-CAN periods or on-CAN periods. So when we have to go for on-CAN periods in that?
When can go. So on-CAN Rx whether we are using means, for example, the question is question in the question they are mentioning, for example, CAN messages received in the particular time means. So on the time they will be receiving work, they definitely work with on-CAN Rx only. So
this means okay, sir. If you give like parent type of thing, what you have given the daily first. Yes. In such case.
So on the timings we are working with it. So if we are definitely working with the hardware means. So on the time we are only working with on-CAN Rx. So which means we are going to receive the values for the tools. So at the time it is acting as a real-time car ECU and the PC will going to act as a testing tool. So the testing tool is able to receiving only. So you are having some touches in this automotive electronics means a little bit you will easily understand. So now we are asking when we are using Rx, when we are using TX like that. So it is not based on that particular thing. So based on the requirement, we are able to transmitting some values for that ECUs. Based on the requirement, we are able to receiving some values from the ECUs. So everything based on requirement. So based, we need to understand gather the requirements. Based on that, we need to decide it. It is not having any standardized thing. So this time only we need to use it. This time only we don't need to use the TX or something. Based on the requirement, it will be different. So as of now, we have completed what are topics mentioned in the syllabus. Everything covered. So next 2 days we will discuss about this all the topics. What are the help you required we will do. So which means for capacity you need to focus again means we can start from the scratch. Or else we want to over your entire TS master. Again you will start from that uploading of database to end of capacity in these 2 days. Okay. Was or failure and then first load test. So what is the result? What is maximum allowed? So like that, based on that, what are everything we get it for report also. So that is called as a report generate report. So we don't need to work for this different kind of code. We are having the report configuration based test system. So we are having the report configuration. You just mention what kind of data. For example, if you want a document, document means you will see the document. PDF file means you have the PDF file. So report template file, the location you have to mention, then path. So both are same only. So it is we need to mention the .save type file also. Here we need to mention the location. Then it is a file name. So if you are giving auto start generation of completion means it is automatically generate the report. If you are not able to disable this checkbox, it will not generate any reports. So this testing is very easy. So here I will give that this is the sample project. So in this top left we are having that TS master logo. So that you just click means you will get this menu like that. Go to sample projects. So these are sample projects. They are explaining about what is will be logging and then replay. You just double click means it will be open for a new project. So in that they will mention what are they working like that. So what I take in the class, the same thing they mentioned that predefined codings. So what are the functions you sample functions opened? Please go for first this design and then open the C mini. So they definitely they write some scripting on it. For all kind of code, they write some script. Please open all the event also. So please check with start some step function. So in the step function what they write one can RX, TX, on timer, stop to stop, custom function also. What they write everything you have to read it. After you will get some understanding of the function. Suppose that function I am not taking the class. For example, so I have a comrade get FPS. Get underscore FPS. So I am not taking this function in our class. So you need to identify means you can just copy and paste it in this filter. So you will get the get FPS scan. So you will get the example also. So this function is used to get the frames per seconds on a specific identifier. So using this function. So it is the first one is the channel index. So the message ID where is going to transmit the channel 1 or channel 2 like that. So if you are working with first channel, the channel number is 0. So index value second channel means value is 1. So what are the ID you are going to get the FPS? ID number 123 and FPS means. So wherever using the get means definitely we need to use the log. Log means it will be printing whatever values it is gathering, it will be printed in our log statement. Okay. So previous function. So you are opening this code means they are working with the step function, one can RX, one can TX, start function, everything they are working with. So for example, in this TX they are working with the test log OK function. But we don't know about what is will be test log OK. So the same thing you just copy. description here. For example, if you want to double error means, so want to show this output, say error means you are using the keyword of double error. So if you want to OK means you are using the level OK. So you need to read the description here. Okay, for example, we have to take Alex. Okay, so this function test dot write result string. Control C. So write, sorry, we're not using the dot. Write result string. Okay, so write result string means you will get the function directly. Just click it. So what is the work of this? They mentioned the descriptions. Don't using the dot in our filter section. Okay, so they are mentioning just a dot. So this test dot com dot means this function comes under the test function. Com dot means comes under communication function. App dot means comes under app function. Okay, so don't using dot for search filter. Using underscore. Okay, so and just copy. You paste it here means you will get the exact function. You click that. So this description they will mention here. So write result value in the string format. So what is the format they followed? So what is the string name? What is the result value you need to print it? What is the level you need to set? Is the level OK or level error or level non like that. Okay. So mostly now this test point is no need. You are just working with the functions of taking the help of these logging and replay programs, measurement, everything you have with the FT symbols you ignore it. Measurement setup, signal catch, and then order performance. These are all okay here because these are the projects we covered in our topics. So mini C program means check for the rolling counter, and then database signal talks means what are the signals, messages we are carrying mapping in our database, everything is showing in our log statement. So the message callback is for understanding TX and then RX. So Python just ignore it. Read frame rate means it is a frames per second. It can be showing in a graphics with the help of scripting. So next is shortcuts. How to use the shortcuts in our programming. So that is timeless graphic show message cycle. So next one panels. You just download this. It will be showing what is the panel basics. Simulation, symbol mapping, remaining bus scripting, remaining bus user interface. System variables plot. So then course simulation no need. So whenever you have the time, you download a test demo and understand the CAD test demo. Okay. So shortcuts means nothing but in this campus putting the last before we have an option as a shortcut. So for example, the shortcut is the right click add on shortcut. So what is the shortcut key I am going to use it? I am using the A. So A means, so here what are the code we write? For example, app.connect I am writing this. So once compiled and then run the script. Oh, So now the application alternated. Now pressing the A, yes means disconnected, A means connected. So based on the shortcut keys, you are using the functions also. So manually you want to flash some values means writing some code, which means com set signal value, some address you passing. Parallelly you just flash the key means the values will be flashed. So that is the shortcuts. Okay. Okay. So this is enough. So once again I repeat. So what are the topics we mentioned in our syllabus? We have covered everything. So from the C program to up to campus scripting and then introduction videos also we covered. So this is enough for we are training the upcoming engineers. So campus. So as per your schedule, you have to create the syllabus according to CAN, C programming, this CAN. So how you are taking the flow of this TS master, everything you have to plan it, and then you can give the same to our upcoming engineers also. Okay. So the C program you have to plan how many days you are going to take for the students, how they are accepting that. So you can take the different kind of programs from ChatGPT also. And then online program compilers is there. Offline compilers also there. You just download for their homework courses. So and then some of the questions possible. I will share the questions in our diary also. So whatever I have it here, I put it some in my hard disk here. So the company is there. So whatever I have the documents for the training, I will upload the same in our drive link. You have to use it for the trainings. Thank you. Sir, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, 2 days I will be there. We will be there. So what is your requirement? We will do.
Anyway, it will be online also.
Sir,
Online. First days online.
after you record it, we will do sir.
And not 2 days. After 2 years.
Yes, online classes. That is what I mentioned.
We get any doubts, some sort of.
Okay, sir. So what are the doubts you carry? Please note it, and we will spend one full day also. Okay. So what are the doubts you have it? We will clear on that.
Not possibly this month because we are according to the other things. Maybe after month of March.
So Sarita is ready to give provide online classes also for upcoming all the years. Okay, sir. Don't worry.
No, this is not.